Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak
I'm
Tree.
Griff.
Baka.
What's up, guys?
What's
What's up?
Here we are again.
Nobody realizes how much of a brain fart I literally had doing that intro. The words were not there. I almost just
You're
like completely
what
blanked.
Is this
You're
where
like,
we live?
It really did. My brain went like click. I was like, oh.
So what do we do again for podcast? What is this called?
Luckily, muscle memory just took over, and I said the right words in the right order at least.
We would have just made fun of you and re-recorded it.
I know.
Or just kept it in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just keep it in. It's more fun like that.
That's how you know it didn't happen, though, because else we would have kept it in and wouldn't have had this conversation.
Exactly.
We would have had a variant of this
Unless all of
conversation.
this is just misleading and that's out actually happened.
Look, that's too much energy for me.
Exactly.
I don't have that. I don't have
Is
that
this
in
real? Is this real life or what?
Griff?
me. All right, what do we want to talk about this week? We're going to jump into the news, and then I'm sure we'll all have plenty of things to talk about after that. And if we don't, well, then that sucks for you.
I'm sure we'll find something to talk about.
We usually do.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do we want to start with? Because there's a lot of stuff that we'll probably spend a minute on.
Let's go ahead and get that big one out of the way because I know it's gonna be like the biggest topic. We'll start off strong.
Okay.
Take it away.
So EU always seems to be the one where these lawsuits just keep coming out and these controversial things because they're doing what they do. Okay, so according to the Court of Justice of the European Union has declared that consumers can legally resell previously purchased and downloaded games and software despite the end user license agreement.
I think that that's a slippery slope.
Oh, that is a very slippery
Massive
slope.
sleeper soak. Because you've got two things that you have to deal with. Because for a long time, of course, when we actually had a hard copy of the game, part of the game at least was on the actual disc. And at some point, it has gotten to the point that if you wanted to go buy a physical copy of the game, it's not really a physical copy.
You're just buying an unlock key.
You're buying a code.
You're buying a code, which the code is technically resellable. Because if you can take that disc and resell it, then somebody else can use that code.
I mean, I guess.
So I guess that's where they're going with this. But here's the thing. There is only a finite amount of those discs that are going to be made, even back in the day, based on sales. So they're only going to say, we're going to give out this amount of codes, print this amount of disc, because we got to see how it sells first. So you have a shortage that's there. If you create it to where people can buy on the aftermarket, you're going to have you're going to create a market of shortage that's there, and you have a possibility of scalping your game.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. Is it's gonna be one of those things where instead of it being forever available in digital, there will be like so many copy keys that you can buy digitally. So they're gonna limit the number, and that's gonna hurt the market itself because one, it cuts down on how many copies are actually gonna get sold. Two, it means that it's going to be what Oak just said, which is people are going to, right out of the gate, set up bots like they do for tickets and all that other shit, buy a whole bunch of them just so they can resell them. You're going to fuck up the market.
This is how, like, before only digital, that's how it was before. You only could buy physical games.
But I would also argue that the market is in a different place now than it was before. Like it wasn't.
I guess they're trying to take it back to.
They're trying to take it back, but as with ticket sales, you can't. You just can't do it anymore. Like you're not going to go backwards with that stuff, unfortunately.
The other issue you run into, I mean, I guess you could really fuck with the system if you are the publisher, I guess in this case, developer and the publisher, because let's say. There is an aftermarket and somebody's trying to scalp it. Let's say the whole PS5 situation where you had a physical thing that was being bought online in order to be able to be sold at a higher price, right? But this case, you actually have a digital version of it. So here's how you fuck people. As soon as you see the sales going up and let's say a used copy of a game that the game itself was normally selling at $50, but because of the fact they limit the amount that was originally there, I guess what you could do is go, okay, here's a Steam sale. Let me go ahead and lower the price of this sucker way lower than it normally would have been. Like, let's say, so instead of $60 or $70, put it at $20, $25. Now the aftermarket gets fucked whoever. Do you see what I mean? So like the used.
Go ahead. I just had this crazy fucking epiphany thing because Steam's rule is that you can't sell a game anywhere else cheaper than what you could sell it on Steam.
Right.
So
the aftermarkets are going to sell their games cheaper than you can get on Steam. Does Steam ban those like how does Steam work with this? Because
I mean, that's a great question. Steam's probably on it right now trying to figure it out.
They can't control the consumer prices. Like, they can't control selling from person to person. Their market would be absolutely demolished.
Their market would be to a degree, but I'm wondering if they're going to take a 30% cut. And so what you do...
Well, if they don't resell it on Steam, they just sell it off somewhere else.
But that's the other part about it, too, is if you can try to resell it somewhere else... But how are you going to sell that without having a market to do it?
I mean, there's the gray market already with G2A and all the other of its ilk where you can sell digitally anyway. So, I mean, there are places for it. But...
Yeah, but there's still publishers and developers that are doing that. And then you have the third-party people that are doing it are people that have just gotten a key, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think
so,
for the most part. But, I mean,
this you're physically taking a game that you have developed and that you've purchased. Because right now, how do you find that key?
You go to your
to sell it
library, I guess.
You go to your Steam library.
It'll tell you the key number.
Yeah, you should be able to see your activation key in it because it's your license. It's the license for your key.
Okay, so if you're able to pull that up from there, it's only going to be in your Steam library. So how do you pull that out of your Steam library if you're trying to sell it on a different market? That's point.
Assuming you buy it on Steam and then try to resell it from Steam. You could buy it from Ubisoft, resell the code, and then somebody else activates it on Steam. Steam would create a closed market. You can't activate games elsewhere on Steam. You can only activate games you bought on Steam
Yeah, well,
that's how they would protect themselves.
You would have to, because like right now, if you can purchase on GOG, because of the way that GOG is set up, you can actually take the code from it and just activate it on Steam as well.
Humble Bundle too, like you wouldn't be able to activate games anymore on Steam. Like, oh god, like if this thing holds up, the bad things that would come from it would just be horrible. It would completely reshape the market.
I really do think that it would be more bad than good. Honestly.
Yes.
Well, and you're running all markets in this because you stated the fact that games license is there. Now
it will have to extend to everything else.
So anything digital. So anything that you've purchased on Amazon that's digital, or anything you've purchased on one of the other digital websites when it comes to movies and TV shows and stuff like that. Music.
Name it.
It is going to be just. They've created chaos by creating this because the lawsuits are about to come out and you're going to have a bunch of this.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be one of those things where it withstands all the way. So
yeah, I don't see how this could like work in anybody's favor. I mean, like being able to sell off games that you don't play or you don't have.
Is there an update to this? Because this is
it's pretty new.
Really? Because this article that you linked is from
December. It's December 5th.
That's why I was asking, was there an update to it? Because...
it says it was updated on December 5th, published edit. I can go and look to see if there's been an update to it.
So you just basically pull one out from December that we didn't even notice.
Us. I didn't even realize.
Necro'ed us. Hell yeah.
You necro'ed a thread.
I didn't look at the date.
That's probably because nothing has happened since then because it's,
Probably sitting stagnant.
Yeah. Well, even then, Europe could end up passing a law that negates this too.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that this would be a good idea to open that up. Like, I get it. If you buy a game back in the day for 360, it came on a disc, you could resell the disc, but it was also a physical good, and it had to be in a certain kind of condition. You couldn't just... But there's no degrading condition for digital, so the digital copy will always be good enough to pass on.
Or, if you did this, you could actually state the fact that the license, it can be sold, but your copy that's on your computer is the version that's got to be sent to the person.
So they get my save files and everything?
Not necessarily your save files, but they get your version. So you would have to have a way to convert that actual game that's sitting on your computer. You can't download it from a server. You would actually have to send it across.
Oh no!
So you could actually,
Ooh, that's opening up
see
for
what
a
I
lot
mean?
of sketch.
So you could argue that, because you could say the end user is whatever is there. It's not on whatever server it's coming off of. It's what's on your computer, and that's what you have to sell.
I don't like that. Stop giving them ideas. That's even worse.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're one of these companies, you need to protect yourself. You got to figure out the best way to do so. And you can say, yeah, you can do it. That's not a problem.
If you want to sell the game to someone else, you got to put it on a USB drive and then mail it to them.
You can either do that or send a digital copy of them through the internet. So good luck
Where would
selling
you-
Call of Duty that's like
Yeah, I was gonna
500
say, where
fucking
would you
gig.
even be able to do that for most games? Even if you tried to upload it to like Google Drive, that's 15 gigs, unless you're paying for the extra space.
They make pretty large flash drives.
Yep. And what's to stop that version of it from being corrupted? So now you're protecting your system.
Well, I've chased this thing all the way back, and you won't believe how far back it goes. How far back this has been
Probably a
standing.
while.
July 3rd, 2012.
That's when they started the
12
push
years
to-
ago. No, that's when they did the final say. Like, that's where they said that publishers are not legally allowed to stop you from reselling games. But that means that nobody really has been doing it. Because as all the reasons that we have stated, they can't. Like, there's just too many guardrails up to that point. Well, to now that you can't sell game. You can't sell your own game. I guess the license makes it too difficult.
I wonder if that's the reason that the FTC hasn't challenged it here in the US.
I think it's just died over the years where, yeah, they legally can't stop you, but nobody is really doing it because it's just too many. It's too difficult to do it. But you also have the companies like Griff said, you got those G2 where you can buy keys from other people's because they go and buy games and they resell the keys.
Mm-hmm.
So, but most of the time people don't do that. Well, okay, I'd say most, but some people definitely buy keys.
We can't stop you from selling your game. Here's
We can't
your
stop you
USB
from reselling
drive.
your game. Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. I would die if that's how you get around that shit and go, yep, you can sell it. You can't just give them a key and them download it though. We've locked that key. It's attached to your IP.
I mean, yeah.
I think the only problem you'd run it, no, because it'd be attached to your account. So there's still not a problem with that. I was about to say the only problem I could see running into is like if you move locations or you change computers or you have multiple computers or whatever, and you're trying to load stuff in respect to PC.
Yes. Note to self: make sure to check dates before I post things.
Yeah.
Hey,
To be
that's
fair,
right. It created a good conversation,
Yeah,
and
it was a
other
good-
people learned it existed, even though it's existed for 12 years.
And let's just hope that this stays in the graveyard because something like that in this modern age does not need to happen.
I would like to
No.
state right now that if this comes up out of the graveyard because of this show, it's not our fault. I mean, it's chicken's fault, but it's not everybody else's fault.
Yeah.
It's just chicken.
It's just Don't count us. Don't lump us all
First
together.
of all, there are 3 other people that did not look at it either. And
I
didn't
looked
go,
at
hey,
it
that's
right
old.
now.
She's the one that called us out.
Hold on. How long ago did I post that and Griff didn't say anything? Shows that she doesn't look at my my post. August 28th.
Yeah, so
Oh,
3
only
days
4
ago.
days ago.
Yeah, that's a few
4
days
days
ago. That's
Yeah,
fine.
it was.
It definitely was not December.
No, it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday. It
Uh,
was Wednesday.
well, somehow we missed that. Well, it's because it came out when we were on break. That's probably how we missed it too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it would have been. It
yeah.
would have been.
That's around the holidays. We're always busy anyway. Yeah, that one definitely fell through the crack on that.
That's all right. There, we had a conversation. That's our backlog conversation. That's going to be our new
We've been
thing.
saving that one.
We go back. We
Yeah,
just
yeah.
find stuff from when we were on breaks.
Yeah, from way back then.
It's like when you watch some of these shows or whatever, and they go past me, you can get to turn around and look, and the person looks totally different, and they've got an entire different background, and they're giving you information.
Yeah,
That was us.
perfect.
That was this one. In case y'all saw it, wanted to know what our opinion was. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Anyway, what else we got?
We got a lot.
I think we got the tale of two games is what I'm going to put
Okay,
out here
go
right
ahead.
now. Game one has sold a total of 25,000 copies, completely under the radar, was completely released, and should have been released free to play, but it was released at about $40. And the max amount in the last few days that have played at one go is 101 people, and that's Concord.
100? Did you say 101?
151.
Okay, 151.
151 people playing it concurrently, and the and then the other game is a game that for the while we were told didn't exist. You had a guy from try to get around the entire system of not being able to talk about the game by just skipping a fucking scene or screen and like, oh, I can talk about it now, and being denied by Valve that it even exists, which is Deadlock. But you know, was actually at one point peaked over 16,000. A game that didn't exist had 16,000 people playing it. A game that's been released had 151 people playing it and only sold 25,000 copies.
Which,
so,
by the way, made up I think somewhere I read it was 1% of its development cost is how much it recouped on sale. It's like, ooh, that's rough. That's rough.
That is.
there are tanks, and then there are tanks.
Yeah, like this is quite possibly lining up to be one of the worst launches in history.
That's rough.
Yeah. Have you looked at I found a list of all of the Concord heroes. And they're so uninspired, y'all. I'm forgiving on character looks and things like that. If something looks cool, it looks cool. These people don't. Most of them look like they shopped at a thrift store, found a gun, and joined some sort of like combat battle. And it's not in a fun way. Like, what was that game? Oh, there was one that was like super campy, cheesy, and it was supposed to be like that. And then there's this where they're trying to be serious, but it's not working. And I can't remember what it was.
Griff just beaten the out of those developers that worked hard on the characters and thought they were great, and she's just like, "You're shit. Your
Okay,
things
look,
are trash."
have you scrolled through them? Because there's a dude
Yes,
named...
I scrolled through and looked through all of them, and it is brutal.
Yeah,
you
it's
can
true.
call it inspiration, but you don't kind of like go ragging on their hard work.
This dude
Damn, bro.
named T.O. It looks like Ted,
Well, like-
but it's an O at the end. It's basically, he's wearing like football pads and a t-shirt underneath it, and like a headset from the 80s, and he has an assault rifle.
Maybe they used AI art to inspire them, Griff.
Exactly. Why you gotta? Okay, when the machine overlords come for you, that ain't me. It's her over there knocking on the door in their cyborg outfits and whatnot. She's down. She's downstairs. Get her.
I'm
They
sorry.
just type in Overwatch at home, and there we go.
There's another character that has like a hazmat suit and a bucket on their head.
You know what? You know what,
It's a
Griff?
bucket.
Before the show
Fucking
started,
loves
you
buckets on his head.
asked what the story was going to be, right? What is the story of
Yeah,
this
what's
game?
the story behind it?
But we'll get to find out. So does the anthology series of a Secret Level come out? Because it has one in it. The game might not last as long, because in December Secret Level comes out. This game might not last until then. So that whole thing of the different games that they're making TV shows about, or like videos, that little anthology series, this is getting one. We don't know what the story is, but we're going to be told that story after it dies. So
Damn, that's absolutely
Savage.
it's like, okay.
Yeah,
So
this game launched at $40 in an oversaturated market. It's a hero shooter. We have tons of them already. Did we need another one? Did you need to spend that much on this one?
Well, it's worth noting that this is the first game developed by Firewalk Studios. I would also like to mention that in about a month and a half, there's not going to be a Firewalk Studios.
We'll point out that this is the first and quite possibly last.
Yeah,
quite possibly.
Yeah, they were founded in 2018 and acquired by Sony in 2023.
How long have they
So
been working on this? I mean,
2018 maybe, and then they used Sony money to make it. We're gonna say better. I don't know. I haven't played it. Yeah. It's
So they use the money to buy the AI software, like the good one, instead of using the free stuff. Got it.
yeah.
I like reading the write-ups for these two. Like I'm on a site where it has all of the characters and a kind of a breakdown of what they're about, and like this one's basically Moira from Overwatch. This one's Drax at home. This one's like, see, you think I'm the only one taking swings, but all you can do is compare it to the rest because there are so many to compare it to.
It saddens me so though. You look at the Wikipedia, there's literally no lore, storyline, nothing. None. Like I'm trying to it's just like the game features a variety of alien characters, each with different abilities, such as robot legs or for high jumps and diamond skin for enhanced damage absorption. Like really? Like that's what you're giving me. That's all the information I can get. I'm sorry, folks. That's all we have.
Is it? It's on Steam, isn't it? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Even I'm looking it up on Steam. Even the little pop-up thing that it shows you, the little picture, is generic. Nothing about this stands out, and that's sad. That's sad.
I mean, it's not their fault entirely.
It's the reviews right now on Steam are mixed.
It's not the artist's fault. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
There you go.
They were just doing what they were told.
Yeah, it just seems like super generic. Watching the gameplay, it's like, It's like Overwatch meets Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's kind of what the picture, like the picture for the article reminded me of, was Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was like, wait, is this one going to be about a Guardians of the Galaxy game? Because I didn't look at what it said, and then when I clicked on it and saw it was for Concord, I went, oh, okay. So.
Ew. Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sad. Does it say how many? Oh, wow. The amount of product refunded on Steam for the review, because the reviews will tell you if somebody refunded the product. Yeah. There's a lot of those.
A lot.
Chicken's gonna try out Baka 2 probably will try out the other one though. The Steam one, the Deadlock. Is that what it's called?
Deadlock.
Yep.
Yes. I think it's gotten, how old is this article? This is the 24th, which was
basically a week ago.
Yeah, last Saturday. I've seen it get up to over 100,000 players in a week. It's blowing up. It's getting.
I mean, Shroud said it's the best third-person shooter he's ever played. And when Shroud talks about a shooter game, and
I take those kind of things with a grain of salt, because it's hard to be like, this is the god tier. It's like, okay, this is a good third-person shooter. I'm very interested to see how the MOBA tactics play, because I've watched a few people play it, and it's interesting. The combat feels pretty decent, or at least it looks pretty decent. Like, it feels responsive. The lane pushing style seems pretty good. The traversal system is actually pretty neat. Everybody starts off on their respective sides, and there's a zip line that goes down each lane, and there's 4 lanes. And you jump up and grab the zip line, and you take it to the lane start, and then you can drop off. And there's buildings and everything, and you got to jump around and whatnot. Your jumping is time-based, so if you jump and then hit it, you time it right, you can kind of jump again or do a dash. Everything is time-based, skill-based. If you're bad, people can see you as bad, because you won't be dashing, you won't be double jumping, you'll just kind of be slipping around like a banana. So the higher skill players, you will see them be better. There is reload animations too. that like Gears of War, where if you have to hit it in the right spot, you reload faster. Items that you have to buy, you got to go back to base and upgrade your character and items and things like that. They had different abilities. You got your own abilities for each of the characters. You level them up. Push lanes, take the towers. The towers are very unforgiving, or the beasts, or whatever you call them. You step into line of sight of them, and they will just shred you apart. So you got to be careful with that. And then there's neutral mobs that you can fight and try to catch up, experience things like that. It looks pretty neat. I'm interested to see how it plays myself.
Well, maybe somebody will get you a code.
I have 2 friends that have codes, and neither of them have sent me one. And all it takes is for you to join in the game, and then you can invite somebody else.
Oh, so just chain invites?
Yeah, yeah. Valve always does social style, where it's like, you want to play? Cool. You got to have somebody who could play. They'll invite you. Then you could invite someone. Like, you have to have somebody invite you, and it's like a vampire thing. It's like, yes, please, come in. You're not allowed in unless you're welcomed.
I see.
Yeah, so.
I'm just glad the game exists now, you know, even though we knew it
figure
existed.
out after the show.
All you got to do is download, load it up, go to the main menu, hit that bottom left side where it says invite friends, send me a code.
Really? We're going to try this time.
It's, from what people have said, it can take a few hours for it to get to the person.
Well,
So.
Don't do it while we're
but
on
he
the
could do
show,
that part.
okay? Because your internet's already sketchy enough, Baka.
Yeah, no, right. He's gonna open up the game, and the whole computer's just gonna go, oh, you want me to do more than one thing? Boom.
Oh.
Too funny.
Chicken will have an update, though. Don't worry. I'm sure he will.
Yes.
What else?
Very interested to play it. Oh.
What else we got? That picture is hilarious.
We said about killing beasts at the end of the day in the game, right? So I'm just going to say right now, speaking of beasts, Dino Crisis, which is a game that a lot of people want a remake of. The series creator Shinji Mikami, which is just a hard name to say in general.
That's not that bad.
Shut up. It's hard to say.
Shinji Mikami? I assume that's
Mikami. Mikami.
I highly doubt they go, my name is Mikami.
No, I'm telling you it's Mikami.
Oh, okay. Well.
Anyway, he basically is saying because Monster Hunter exists, it doesn't see a need for Dino Crisis. So basically, you know, it's
is
one of
very
those.
sad because people have been.
Yeah, they're 2 different style of games, though.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't. They're like, oh, here's Monster. It's an odd. In my case, I look at it as an odd take, but it's one of those where like, okay, or maybe he's just throwing us off.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Monster Hunter exists. There's no reason to have that. Listen, more people, just are like, no, we need to have Dino Crisis, and then boop, here you go.
I like that
Dino
a lot of the
Crisis
comments, they're like, basically, he doesn't have a majority stake in Capcom, so I don't really think that he gets a say, which, I mean, that seems to be kind of where most people are landing. Shut up, we all want this, I guess.
Yeah, like, because Dino Crisis is like Resident Evil, but with dinosaurs.
Yeah, which is nothing like Monster Hunter.
No, not anywhere near. I mean, it's not even close to Exoprimal or anything. There are a couple of Dino style games like that out there that are being made, but there's nothing like Dino Crisis out there right now. There's not a survival horror dinosaur game.
Nope.
It's kind of an open market, just kind of being like, hey, anybody?
You could set it with modern technology. You could set that up really nice. Really nice.
Yes, you can. I mean, the Jurassic Park game is supposed to be like that, where it's a horror survival game with dinosaurs. So that'll be interesting to see how that one turns out. So I hope this is just to throw us off, because please, Dino Crisis, yes.
Please make it happen. More
Yes.
dinos.
Yes, there are not enough dinosaurs in video games these days.
We need more dinosaurs, please. Thanks.
There.
Yes.
It's all about the zombies.
I don't
Fine,
know.
zombie
Is zombies really
dinosaurs.
remaking or making a huge comeback right now? Because I don't think they are.
What
I
are?
mean, zombies.
Zombies.
They're redoing the what is it? Dead Rising. They're doing
Are they
the first
redoing
one.
the original?
Yeah, see, I can't remember if it's a remaster or a remake. I think it's a remake.
Yeah, I think it's a remake too.
They're doing
I know
they're doing
people
it.
liked that one.
But yeah, they've got Killing Floor 3, which is coming out. There's a couple other zombie
Yeah,
games
but
that are
Killing
coming
Floor
out.
3 is going to be a huge departure from the Killing Floor core. So
They've listened to the community, so
Die.
step that back a little bit.
I hope so.
Lollipop Chainsaw coming out.
That one's going to be... I'm waiting to see how that one gets... how that one does when it launches.
I bet money it's going to do good.
I'm
Oh, I bet it
curious.
is too. I
Yeah.
bet it is.
Oh, yeah.
So...
It's such an absurd game to
that
start
one
with.
was fun.
Yeah,
That
but
was
you...
fun.
Okay, Baga, you do like fringe games that are very weird and generally don't pick up like the general populace. So
And
I'm
it
not
comes
saying
out
that's
the
a bad thing. I'm just saying.
I mean, that
of
game
course
was
you like that
relatively
one.
popular when it came out.
Yeah, that game was
Again,
relatively
Griff
popular.
is calling me a hipster.
Yes, hipster. Anyway, that game comes out a day before my birthday. It comes out next Thursday. That's right.
There's
That's
a
how
lot
soon.
of stuff like in the very near
Uh,
future.
Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Stalker 2.
Okay, so it's a remaster, not a remake.
Oh, Dead Season. I think this.
Yep.
There is. Oh, there's a game. I forgot what it is. I added it to my wish list, but it's a roguelike, top-down strategy survival zombie game. You basically make your character, you spawn in your house, and you have your crafting bench and all of that. It's turn-based too. You go out on missions, and you have to make your way through the missions. They're all procedurally generated too, so it's all random, and it's roguelike, so it's always going to be different. And when your character dies, they're dead. You got to start over again. So you got to see how long you can survive through it. When I first saw that, I was like,
does your character? Okay, here's my question. Is it one of those where like I build a house, I built a fire, I've gotten everything set up?
no.
I go
You
out,
get
I
your
die?
house. You get your house. You get the main little base area that you
Okay.
start in,
Okay,
and you got your
so
crafting bench.
that's
and
always
things
going to
like
be
that.
there when I die. That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. You
It's
start
always
over, you
gonna be
get
there.
your house back, and then you upgrade your character, put on mods, upgrade your talents, things like that, make new weapons, try to survive as long as you can. Because again, a roguelike style of that game where it's turn-based too, so the zombies will take their turn, step closer to you, and you've got to try to hit them or retreat. And Griff is making that face because she doesn't like turn-based games, but the three of us are like, show me what you got.
I'll
Show me what
watch
got.
you play it. I'm very
Yeah, like-
picky when it comes to turn-based combat, though.
But this game is called Dead Season. It actually looks pretty neat. Is this the one? No, this is actually different. It's called Dead Season. Got a group in the Dead Season. Turn-based tactics, strategize against... Okay, this is kind of neat. Okay, there's farm equipment and they're mowing through zombies. That sounds good. Oh, this looks like XCOM, but with zombie apocalypse.
Oh, no thanks.
No one was talking to you, Griff.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I hope you guys
Okay.
like it.
Well, that one's not out yet. Let's see, what other zombie games? No More Room in Hell 2. Yes. Adding this to the list, by the way, for Friday night games. No More Room in Hell 2. It's an 8-player co-op action.
Oh, it's
horror
actually
game.
8-player.
No, not six,
Make
bro.
sure you check and make sure
Not-
it's
not
8-player
six.
before you.
It's 8-player, and you all 8 people drop into a map, and you have to try to find each other and survive to make the escape.
So you drop in a la Daisy.
A la DayZ, kinda. And the amount of zombies in there are crazy, so you want to find a friend.
I mean, we just
Phone a friend,
spawned
find
it
a
in
friend.
7 days to die. So
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think we were all relative. Well, and the one that we started, I think we were all relatively close.
yeah,
And
we had to go
it's
search for
hardcore
everybody.
too. So when your character dies on a mission,
You did.
you lose your stuff. But yes, No More Room in Hell 2 is another great zombie game that's upcoming. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando co-op shooter, Project Z, Killing Floor 3, which I would leave that loosely. They're more
Toxic
mutants than
Commando
zombie.
is based on that's a movie, isn't it?
I think
Yeah.
so. And State of Decay 3. So there are still several zombie games still working. So, but yeah, I'm gonna hold open this page because there's a few games on there that I want to look at later. You stay over there.
Lols.
All right. All right.
You stay over there.
Well, this is a perfect segue into
Is it?
one of the other topics for big multiplayer games or zombie games that with for multiplayers. This is a multiplayer game that I have had my eye on, and I am so happy that it is doing well. It is the Starship Troopers game. It's getting its full release here very soon. October 11th. This year, October 11th, it's going to be full released, and it just entered early access May of last year. So a year and some change, a year and a half of early access, and they have done so much. And for the single player campaign mode that they do, which I think they're going to kind of use it as a tutorial, they got the guy who played Johnny
Johnny
in the
Rico.
first movie. In the
Wasn't
first
that
movie,
Casper Van Dien?
It
yes,
is.
and they got him to come back to reprise his role in the game.
Okay.
Come on,
I mean,
I'm excited about that. The what I was worried about because Helldivers was so popular is that it was going to like just completely kill this because the way honestly it's similar fucking plot lines, but it is one of those where
I'm pretty sure Helldivers was based on.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
but the thing is because that was already released and fully released, I thought it was going to kill this completely and people were going to forget about it being there. Then Sony fucked up and made it to where people had to line to go in and make sure that you were like, oh, I got to log into my Sony account. And there were a lot of people that couldn't play the game, and then they were like, oh, we're going to back out, whatever. But then they had that bad taste in their mouths and they stopped playing Helldivers. So it was like, oh, okay. Now we got this where there's no Sony connection that I know of. And so it's like, here you go. Anybody can play it, still play something similar. I'm very interested to see how this gameplay itself works because it's 16 players.
Yes, I'm gonna fangirl over this one a little bit just because of how true they're also being to the story too. Like it's a canonical story. They're gonna the campaigns that they're building into it are canon. Like it's supposed to be along with it. They've gotten they've worked with the studio, they're kind of, which I think it's kind of smart, rebuild the brand from this. You can start something with this, maybe make a new movie. I hope they haven't been making movies because I know they did that with Tremors.
Four
Okay.
I think.
Because Tremors has been coming out still. I think they just released one like a couple years ago that was they've just gotten wild in the Tremors universe, but maybe they could reboot the Starship Troopers universe. But 16 player co-op, like they didn't go with the typical PvP style. They went PvE, 16 player PvE, base building.
weird.
Because you while you're in there, you land in your fort, and you can build it up with your teammates. The bugs can destroy it. By the way, they just keep slamming into you constantly. And with this update, they have permanent corpses now. So when you kill a bug, it dead and it lay dead. So as you slaughter the bugs as they run across your base, they will pile up, and they will eventually they will eventually come over your base, and you will be swarmed in a different way. Like it makes you, and especially at the end of the campaigns, it's time to escape. Like there's no escaping the bugs. Like you just have to get on the ship and leave. You can't go back to save your friends, man. Once they get overwhelmed, there's no respawning. They're dead. You gotta let them go and try to escape yourself. But they're adding galactic front operations. It gonna have a story base to it, and they're gonna have challenges for the whole community to do. So they're gonna pop up different mission sectors and whatnot. You got to go here with the community and try to stop the bugs pushing over here, and that will increase the overall community challenges. And then the next week will be over here and whatnot. And as the community works together to push the bugs back, you'll unlock more of the story and things like that. So it's nice. New bugs, new planets, all sorts of new stuff. And they have a lot more plans too, so I have high hopes for this one. Speaking of such, I'm gonna go see what kind of player base it's had. I still haven't bought the game yet.
You gonna go check it out?
Yeah, I really want to get it.
I know.
I'm watching. I'm looking at the different information for the different movies that have been out. So there's three movies that are live action. The last one was released in 2008. All of them have the same writer.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been quite a minute.
And then there are 2 animated movies. The second of which does have the same writer as the original series.
Okay.
And the last one of those was released in 2017.
Okay.
There was a TV show which I totally forgot existed I didn't know existed. It was in the 80s, so before the movie was released.
Okay.
And then they did Roughneck Starship Troopers Chronicles. It was 36 episodes plus 4 clip shows, whatever that means.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
It was done in 99 to 2000. And then there have been 6 video games.
Well, there's been. Oh,
Including this
yeah,
one.
yeah. There
I did
has
not
been a
know
few video
that
games.
this franchise was so huge.
I don't know if Baka has played it, but the old strategy, the strategy Starship Troopers games way back in the day were a lot of fun. Having your little squad that you've had to move around the planets and try to take out the bugs. That was a good genre for this.
It was very similar to the Alien versus Predator game that they did on the Xbox. With that was a strategy base.
Yes, so it's pretty neat.
There's was that it? Yeah, it was. It looks like the games y'all are talking about is probably because there's 2 that are called Terran. So it's Terran Ascendancy and a Terran Command. So those are probably going to be your real-time strategy, and then there's one called Troopers. Does it say what style it is? It just was based. Starship Troopers in 2005 was just based on the movie. It doesn't say what style it is on it. And then you get this one, of course. But I had no idea that there was that much shit that went along with the movie.
Either.
The book was written in 1959, by the way. So if anybody wants to read the book,
Wow, nice. So it's an old franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's well over 50 years, 60 years, almost 70 years old. Wow, it's almost 70 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That's an old franchise. To be fair, it is a pretty badass franchise too. Who doesn't like to kill bugs?
Big giant bugs.
Exactly. I mean, come on, it's an overused style. They're like, yeah, it's a well-used trope over the years. Bug alien infestation comes to every planet and destroys everything.
Right.
Yeah, it's a trope well used through a lot of genres. But yes, waiting for this one. I definitely want to get it.
What else
Yep.
we got? Now that we've learned so much about Starship
last time we were on here, we talked about the fact that there was the Borderlands movies was bad. We talked about an announcement I think we talked about the announcement for Borderlands 4 that was just like a shot that was there. And on top of that, it seems as though, I know this is just something that's crazy for everybody. Randy Pitchford was wrong.
Let's have this smug look on our face.
Wrong. I can't believe that he was wrong about something. It seems though that Borderlands 4 is coming to Steam on day 1 because he was wrong about Epic.
Oh, really?
What? The Epic Store? So crazy.
Wrong? He was wrong about it. That's crazy.
As soon as you post that link, I'm saving my favorite GIF for it.
I didn't think he could be wrong. He wrote some giant write-up too, kind of shitting on Steam on low key, while also being like, "Man, I hope Epic keeps doing what they're doing. Good luck, but that shit sucks. Nobody, don't do that." Yeah, I guess we'll just have to do Steam because Epic sucks. Don't quote me on that though. It's like, all right, buddy. All right, we could have told you that like to begin with. Oh wait.
Yeah. You know what? I wonder how many other developers have had this conversation behind closed doors after doing an exclusive thing with Epic, being like, You guys think that maybe we should have not done that? You think maybe next time we should not do that? Y'all, seriously, stop it. Stop it. Stop doing
Steam will never-
exclusivity on launch.
Steam will never chase you down. You come to Steam. Steam is an open market. They're not going to treat you any better than anyone else. They're gonna, if you come in, you have a spot. You always have a chair at the table. But they're not going to pamper you up or put a cushion on there. You get the same seat as everybody else.
Well, the other thing about it is too, like Steam gives everybody an opportunity. If you have good sales and everything else, you actually can negotiate that 30%. 30% is kind of a starting rate.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Borderlands has a shit ton of following and a lot of people that have played that fucking game. And it's like, you were probably getting a better rate than a lot of people were. But there's also a lot of features that are available that aren't fucking available on the Epic Store. They do have the cart, thank God, but they don't have reviews and a bunch of other shit. Come on.
That
There-
that
Go
announcement
ahead.
for the Borderlands thing was after last week's podcast. So in case you didn't know, they've already released a teaser trailer for Borderlands 4. Surprise! I
Yeah.
guess they're hoping that you'll look at that instead of the movie and forget that the movie was terrible. I don't know.
Mm.
Which, by the way, is also coming to streaming in the next couple of weeks already.
Oh, actually, I think it's already on stream.
It's already out.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it? Oh, okay,
yeah,
I thought it was.
yeah.
It was the 30th.
For some reason,
Because
I thought it
everything
was a
has
couple of weeks.
everything has about a 3-week turnaround now. Like even bad movies and good movies, like both have 3-week turnaround before they're on digital, which is why no one goes to the theater.
Well, because people are gross.
It's
and I
too
don't hang
damn
out with them.
expensive. Yeah, first of all, it's too damn expensive when I could just pay $8 and watch it at home in my nice ass bed.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is what used to happen is you go to you'd put it in the theater, and then 6 months later is when it would hit to where you could watch it at home. You still get that choice; it's there. But if people can watch it at their home within like 3 weeks, why am I going to the theater? Like you
Yeah,
said,
but that's the thing. Like every business is like, why wait to get into those pockets?
But they're also the first ones to complain about the fact that they don't get as much money as they used to. And it's like because nobody's going to go to the theater.
Yeah, that's on them. Like, I mean, it's because it's like people are more willing to wait. Because I mean, you wait 6 months for that. The movie that came out 6 months ago is just coming out, and I'm going to go watch that one that I waited 6 months for, and then I'll wait. Next month I'll watch the other new movie that just came out, and in 6 months, when that movie that I wanted to watch comes out, I'll have that one ready on the docket.
Well, right, but you got it every 6 months instead of 3 weeks. Now it's 3 weeks.
Yeah, now it's 3 weeks. Now I definitely don't have to wait.
Yeah.
But to jump out of the Steam thing, like there are the Steam and Epic thing. There are lots of games that I don't know. They take money from Epic and then are like, oh my god, why didn't my game do super well? There's one that I watched on Epic when it first came out. It's a it's another survival crafting game, but it's Lord of the Rings one. It's called Age of Moria.
I've been playing it. It's actually Return to Moria, but yeah.
Oh, Return to Moria. Yes, you were basically inside of one of the mountains, and you get to survival craft inside of
I'll
that
talk
as
about it
dwarf.
when we get to the gaming part.
Okay, cool. That one, I was like, oh man, it's finally on Steam. But everybody's like, yeah. It's like so many months later. It's like you.
Yeah, but it's
lost your hype.
$20 now versus $40, I think, is what it was originally.
Yep.
And you get the like deluxe version that's got like
Yeah.
the soundtrack and shit with it.
It's like, yeah, you wouldn't have had to do that, buddy. If you would have just started out on Steam, you could have built your community and then started up. But now you kind of squandered your first release, and then you're over here like crawling back to Steam, going here. It's like okay, now it's a little because people like some of the reviews are like, this is how you move your save files from Epic to here. It's like,
Yep.
okay, that's how we do it. Yeah, because everybody just wants everything on Steam.
Yeah.
Which is not bad to have competition. I get that, but if you want to be competitive,
Be competitive.
you
Don't
actually
be garbage.
have to have a shopping cart or reviews, or you've got to have some of the basic necessities for a
Chat's
storefront.
nice. Having an actual way of being able to chat with your friends is nice.
Yes.
Well, whatever. Here's
Uh.
go do your thing, Gearbox and Baldur's Gate. Sorry, I was looking at the GIF is still playing behind my window right now. Sorry, but Borderlands 4, whatever. That game's gonna be hard trash. I bet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think
I don't think there's any
Pitchford can
bringing
get out
it
of his
back.
head enough. I don't think he can get out of his head enough to like go back to what the franchise was good with.
Yeah, I think he is the problem. I think if he was not touching the project in any way whatsoever, which is impossible for him. But if he were to be able to step away and let the people that actually can write worth a damn write the game, it'd probably be all right. But I don't think he can. I don't think he can pull his head out of his own ass.
You can't be so controlling about it. Like, you got to bring in your writers. If you want to give input, that's fine, but you can't be so controlling about every single aspect of it. You got to be like, okay, that's good, I like that. I'm not a big fan of that, but that's okay. It kind of fits in there. I'm not a big fan of how that direction
his
goes.
problem
It's like, okay,
is that
but
he also
so...
thinks that he's never wrong and knows exactly what's best for the series, and he
I would
obviously
not be-
doesn't.
I would not be surprised if at least like 5 of the characters from the new game are him talking in different voices.
It's the only people he can afford these days.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to pay other people, so he's just going to do it. And he's like, and you can't do this voice better than I can, even though that person's done it for years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a rip.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's just how he is.
Mm-hmm. How do you
Crazy.
not pay the guy who's been playing Claptrap for years?
Because they got into a spat.
Yeah, but he
And
didn't pay him for voice acting. He paid him for a regular job.
Yeah, I
and
know,
that's
but
what
you
the
wanted him
problem
to be a
was.
voice actor, so you pay him for to be a voice actor. It's like you hire a janitor, and he turns out to be really fucking good at voice acting, and you're like, no, you're just a janitor. But you want me to voice act? Yeah, but you're here as a janitor.
I feel like Pitchford was one of the very early adopters of that mentality of like, oh, but I'm paying you with exposure. Like, yeah, I'm paying you to do your job, but I'm having you voice act in the game. I'm not going to pay you for voice acting because obviously it's just, you're doing this because it's fun, right? And it's like, but
Yeah.
I'm actually doing work here. I need you to pay me for that part of it too. Like, sorry,
that's
man.
not what I was hired on, Bubba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's different if you're, a small studio and you guys are doing things like as a labor of love kind of deal. But if it's like a AAA game, you gotta pay the voice actors because they're voice acting,
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure everybody who was part of Baldur's Gate 3, they got paid well, and it was like one of the best voice acting jobs they've gotten.
Well, I mean, they went back for extra stuff that needed
exactly just because they wanted to be a part of it. It's like, hey, we got a couple more endings that we wanted to do. Can you guys come back in for a few more voice lines? We'll pay you. Yeah, don't worry about it. I absolutely want to be a part of this. This was one of the greatest projects I've ever been a part of. It's like, hell yeah.
They've also already been compensated, pretty well to start with. So it's not like, oh no, again.
But
well, they also weren't the janitor either. They actually were regular voice actors
they were
that started out.
voice actors who got paid well for doing their job.
But let's be real. If any of us had to actually interact with Randy Pitchford, wouldn't you want to be paid for that time too? Because I would. If I had to be around that man, you're going to have to pay me to be there. And
props to the people that have to interview his ass. Can I get paid extra just for being around Randy Pitchford?
And this week on your interview list is Randy Pitchford. So am I getting overtime for that?
Hazard pay? Can I get hazard pay?
Oh, can I get hazard pay?
Oh,
yes, hazard pay.
Oh, God.
I swear, if it shows me one goddamn magic trick, you're paying me an extra $10K.
For going from 1/4 iteration of a game to another, CD Projekt Red says that Witcher 4 will be entering full production soon. Also, they did announce that there's going to be more cyberpunk animation coming as well, which did really well. So that's awesome.
But it's not going to be a continuation. It's not like Edge Runner Season 2, but they want to do something else in the world.
Hell yeah!
Which is
like give me an anthology of like stories in cyberpunk.
That's what I want.
I am interested to see what they do with and see what this means too for the remake of the Witcher. The original Witcher games. Does that mean it's almost done?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be almost done because I don't know if you guys have played the original Witcher, but oh my god, is that thing dated?
Oh yeah,
so
it's very
dated.
Very dated.
No, what you're talking about, chicken.
Yeah, but we don't know how long they've been working on it either. So.
Yeah. I gotta be honest. When I played The Witcher 3 and I was like, man, this is so good. I played The Witcher 2 years ago and then played The Witcher 3 and I was like, God,
which is
so
still
good.
clunky. The second one's clunky too.
And then I was like, oh, I got Witcher, the original Witcher for like $1, and I was like, I need to play this, and I started playing it, and I was like,
this is
dear Lord, what is this thing?
Very dated.
How do I attack? How do I? Okay, I just click on time? It's like a rhythm game at that point. It's like, holy goodness, wow, this thing is different. It was very different. Like, it really is like playing the original Mass Effect to Mass Effect 2 kind of style, where the first one was like, oh yeah, this is fun. You go into Mass Effect 2, you're like, wow, this is a lot different. This is a lot
in
better.
a good way, I think.
In a very good way.
Very
if you
good
played
way.
Mass Effect 2 and 3 and then went back to the first one, you'd be like,
Well,
is this
especially on
monstrosity?
PC. So if you're, because on PC, it's one of those where it's like you only could play on mouse and keyboard on that game.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
On the
first
original
one,
version.
which is how I did it. And oh my god, Legendary Edition, thank you for fixing that.
It was brutal. It was brutal. Like the first iteration, which I'm glad they're redoing, like remaking it entirely, because that game is a game that needs to be experienced, because it's a pretty good foundation, because it's the start of his story in this arc. So
Mhm.
you get to see him from the beginning of the trilogy, because it's just so unaccessible. It's like the Resident Evil games. Some of those early Resident Evil games are just so inaccessible for some people. Which I find really weird that they decided to go ahead and remake the second one instead of remaking the first one. They're like, we're going to reboot the series with the second game. Hey, that reminds me of Silent Hill 2. Let's restart with the second one.
I knew you were gonna bring it up.
To be fair, it's going to be a good game. Like the second one. Second the best, right? That's the old rule.
Yeah, there you go.
When we were in elementary school, first the worst, second the best.
Yeah, there you go.
Uh,
Oh man, that's gonna be interesting to see all of that stuff. Like I'm CD Projekt Red. I'm just looking forward to everything that they're doing. I guess.
they have a lot of faith.
Yes, a lot of goodwill built up. I mean, even
Yes, a
though
lot of goodwill.
Cyberpunk 2077 had a really rough coming out, they put a lot of work into it on the back end and made a lot of things way better in the long run. So I'm glad they listened, and hopefully they've learned from that mistake.
My only hope is that the next time that they want to start a new IP, which it seems like with these long-term companies, when they start a new IP, Starfield, Cyberpunk, like they've got these grandiose ideas and then are like,
How do we implement
let's
that?
change it up. Let's change it up. Let's change it up again. And then a couple of years later, like, no, let's try again. A couple of years later, no, let's try again. We got to stop restarting this thing. We need to actually get it cooking. Okay, cool. A couple of years later, no, let's try again. It's like, well, we got like 6 years before it has to come out. We're gonna restart it another 3 times.
Yes.
And then we end up with this.
Well,
Yes,
but
go again.
I'm hoping they learned their lesson on that last one though, because it was one of those where you had one of the most anticipated games for 8 years, and it's like it finally comes out and it's just not playable for a lot of people. You know, the good thing is the game was so good when it came to the content that was available for those that did play it, and the fact that they worked on it as hard as they did, it just made sense. But I'm just hoping the powers that be actually will listen to the people developing the game this time, instead of, just no, we got to get it done. We put our money into this. We got to get it done. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah. It's like when you're making a new IP, you've got to make sure that somebody has the vision for the game, and then you can follow that vision all the way through, instead of just changing it up every few years. It's like, stop! You're losing time. You just wasted 2 years working on something that's not even going to be a part of this.
Well, and I wish they would do, instead of going, okay, well, because at the time too, you got to remember they were making a PC version and then two different generations on 2 different consoles generated versions of the game. So it was very complicated to try to do. I really think what they need to do is they need to do a time release on PC, work on all the bugs and stuff, and then release on whatever consoles there are at the time. And then boom, done. That's it. So
Which
like
is ironic since GTA does the opposite. They release on consoles and then
it's
go to
because
PC.
Well, yeah, for them, I think the console market is bigger, though. I mean, not saying that
Ooh,
they're not
I wouldn't
making money
say-
on PC, but I'm just saying I think that's their.
I wouldn't say that anymore. Like the online GTA market for PC is good, fucking huge.
Maybe it's one of those
especially
like,
because
tied
of
to the
mods
roots kind of
these days.
things. They release on console or prioritize console because that's their initial home, and
Honestly, I think it's because it's easier that way. Like
maybe you're right.
you have to design for this console, these 2 consoles. That's it. You know the hardware. You just got to design it for that hardware. Whereas with PC, you've got to make it work on
Everything
a huge assortment of
from
stuff.
potato to ultra, you know.
Yeah, so there's a lot more variations to work with. So
Well, did we have any other news stuff?
No more news.
Okay.
mm-mm.
What have y'all been doing
No.
this week?
I'll start since we
Tell me
already
about
talked about
Moira.
a little bit.
That's right. Tell me about it.
All right, so Return to Moria is it starts off with Gimli talking, and which sold me right off the bat.
Is
to
it
this
is it
person.
the same voice actor?
I believe it's somebody doing his voice, but they're
Oh,
pretty
okay.
spot on. I do not believe it's him.
Okay.
It's like an
I'm
imitation.
gonna. I
Um,
want to check too.
but the it's really it's the beginning part of it is you're starting the campaign. The idea behind it is the fact that Gimli is the one that's wanting to.
Yes, it is.
It is him. Good.
It is.
Because it is spot on, but I was like, I don't know if they got him for that or
yeah,
not.
yeah, they
'cause
got
he's
him. They got
9,000
him.
years old now. He's pretty old.
Yeah, announced to the esteemed actor will reprise his iconic role.
So basically the thought process is like he's trying to go ahead and to redo Moria, but they're trying to get inside of the actual door. Remember the door that was speak friend and children or whatever?
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Okay.
So they're trying to break it open, trying to figure out what's happening. Well, they can't do it. So he comes up with this brilliant plan that they're going to use blasting powder in barrels
Leave it to the
blow
dwarves.
open this thing. Well, as they're putting the barrels in, that's when your character kind of takes over from a first person view, and you're just holding a barrel and walking in. And this lady's telling you where to go, and you're walking in, and you get in there, and this like kind of purplish black smoke comes up from there. It's like an eerie smoke comes through, and as it does, everything starts to rattle, and the ground, everybody gets out except you. The ground falls below you, and then you wake up inside of Moria.
Okay.
And then inside of Moria, now it's the survival part, right? So you're walking through. Now you do have a voice actor for your character. You get to choose your voice. There's 10 voices, 7 of which are in English. The other 3 are actually in Dwarven. So
damn. Okay.
That's commitment.
That's pretty neat. They actually give you a dwarven style.
Yeah. So then you go through and it's just like any other survival game where you go in and you try to gather your stuff, do all that, but you're inside of the area. It kind of lets you know, like I read the tutorials as they go through because it's unusual. Because you think about it, okay, let me go out and hit a tree. Let me go out and hit some fiber,
Giant
whatever.
open world, typical.
Yeah, like what do I need to do? So reading the tutorials, you go, and then you come up on some goblins. And when you come up on the goblins, they hold off from you, and you can actually hear them saying, "We're not going to attack them yet." Like they're talking to each other. We're not going to attack them yet. We're going to wait until later. So the game gives you an opportunity to kind of build an area for yourself for the little raids that'll show up.
I like it.
And it sets you up a base to start with. You can, like, once you get enough stuff, you can build your own like forges and do all that type of stuff. But it already has some there that it allows you to repair into an area.
Okay.
So now you kind of know what that helps you. Okay, what do I need to do to build a sword? What do I need to do to there's a key that you have to get, build this key. What do I need to do? So it kind of helps the tutorial part of it. Then you have your little raids, and then now you get to explore the mine a little bit more. And actually, just before we got on, that's what I was doing, was about to start the exploration of the mine. And I was like, okay, I got to get off before we actually start in on this, or I'll be doing this for a while. But it's kind of neat the way that they've done it. It's the areas that you can go to bust through from one area to another, because it looks like dirt with stones in it. So as you bust through it, actually stones come out. So that's how you get your stone as well. And you can either, at first I was like, I can't handle this. This is like it used to be like a total entryway. So let me just bust the shit out of it. And I was like, what am I doing? I'm going to get full of stone if I keep doing this. Right. So I just made my little hollow hole, and I was like, later on, I'll just bust this back out.
Clear it out.
Yeah,
I'll
and
fix this later.
but basically, if you remember from the movie, when they discover Moria, you have all the dead bodies that are laying everywhere, and you have where it looks like they've been in a battle, and you've got like barricades and shit like that up. You can bust those, and that's where you get your material from. Partially, there's also like I mined some iron. That's part of your tutorial area. You'll mine some iron to do some of what you need to. But it's cool because it points out where you need to mine at because it's part of the tutorial. But it's showing you this is what it looks like on a wall.
Okay.
So that way you have an idea of what you need to do. It is co-op. I don't know if the campaign part is or not. They do have a version of it to where you could just basically like an open world going in and regular survival thing. If the campaign part of it doesn't interest you, it does me because I want to see what happens. And I'm just solo playing it, but you can host and create a key. I don't know how many people can play in it at a time. I'm guessing 4, but it might be more than that. But it does allow you to generate a key that you give to somebody, and then they just type that code in and pop into your game. But graphically, it's pretty. You get to create your dwarf. There is some customization. Mine's bald headed, of course, and got tattoos like right here. It's got tattoos on the side, and then
8-player co-op.
My hair, if I have.
It is
8-player co-op.
Oh, awesome!
But it is only host versioned, like 7 Days to Die, where you make a game and people can join you. That's the only way it works right now.
That makes sense. And then yeah, like I fought some dogs and stuff that are down there. There's a it kind of reminded me of Valheim. You know how you got the crow that comes up and you talk to the crow and the crow kind of tells you what to do. That's something similar to that. It's just this bird that comes up, but the bird actually talks instead of just having a thing on there. And he'll be like, "This is what you kind of need to do next. While you're doing this, I'm going to go do this." You know, and then he heads out.
I've got important things to do.
Yeah, and so it's kind of neat. I'm interested to see like how intense these fights and stuff are going to get. The first raid wasn't too bad. I just made a sword, and I don't know if that's
a trigger.
If that's a trigger or not is after you make the sword. But I slept because my dude was getting tired, so I slept and woke up, and it was the fight was going on. So it's like, okay. But yeah, it's I do recommend if you do it to explore as much as you can, both high and low. That's the only thing I'm going to tell you, because it is it is, in my opinion, really well done on what they've done to create the world feel like you're part of down in actual Moria.
Hell yeah.
But it's also, you know, it's Tolkien, so it can be hit or miss cheesiness and other stuff too.
Sometimes the cheesiness is kind of adds a little bit flavor to it.
So, but I like it. It's good. But I've also been playing Star Wars Outlaws because I got it for free when I got my computer, so I decided to go ahead and play it. I've actually enjoying it. It's kind of a bland game, I'm not gonna lie, but it's enjoyable to me. I mean, it's just one of those where I don't mind going in, and like plotline wise it's kind of a tropey Star Wars style storyline so far. I like the stealth in it when the stealth works. There are portions of it that I'm like, okay, they specifically want you to use this to do the stealth. And I figured that out afterwards, because what'll happen is if you don't use the stealth property, there's no way to go back either. So it's not like you can, I mean, I guess you could load the game back on, but there's just like in general, if you're like, well, shit, you know, I died, let me go back. You can in that respect, but if you don't die, it's like, but you're like, I'd rather do the hell no that stealthier and go back. There's not a real way to load that. So it's kind of the autosave thing, the way it's set up. But it's neat. Your little creature, I don't know what it's called, is neat because that's your eagle vision, if you will, for those people that have played Assassin's Creed. like, so you'll hit the little button and it'll pop up to where you can gather stuff. It also shows you where the bad guys are at. It's neat too because it can kind of see through walls, but it tells you what condition those people are in. So if they're mad or looking for you, they're like an orangish red through the wall, but it's like very faint depending on how close they are to that wall to you. So it's kind of neat on how that works. And then they'll go blue if they're not trying to attack you or find you or anything like that. So you know when to escape. But it's pretty neat. I like it, but I'll probably be playing more of Return to Moria right now just because I got it and I was like, I gotta play it. I've been waiting for a while for that one. There's one I waited 6 months for.
There you go.
There you go.
Year, however long it's been.
Yeah.
There's one I waited.
It's been a little while because, like I said, I watched it.
It might be a year. It might have been a year exclusive with Epic. Now I think about it.
Huh.
Let's see.
So
October 24th, 23. So last year.
almost a year. Yeah.
Almost a year.
That's
Wow,
weird.
almost- was that like 9
It's like a
months?
10-month. You get a 10-month exclusive or
That's
whatever.
Weird.
So no, something tells me that they went to Epic and was like, "Yo, can we put our game on Steam a little bit early because
It's just not
this
doing
this shit ain't working over here."
Yeah.
Especially after the Randy Pitchford thing that came out when he was straight up like, "Yeah, they aren't doing it. It ain't really
I'm
worth
sure his
it."
buddy Tim Sweeney really loves him saying that shit too.
Those two are the most arrogant people in game development, I believe. And that's saying
Like-
something because Kojima exists.
Is there another lawsuit going on? Because I can tell you right now, I would be using that fucking quote from Randy Pitchford.
Yeah, no shit. Oh man. I mean, yeah, Kojima, but I don't know. There's just something not super asshole-ish about Kojima. Like he seems very like
His
humble.
arrogance is more self-contained
he's-
somehow.
Yeah,
I don't know
like he
how-
is definitely a little bit more kind of. I don't know. Maybe it's just the Japanese.
I don't know that he's
culture
humble, but
Yeah,
I don't know if
say
I
he's
go
humble.
humble, but
but
I don't know. Like I said, there's just something about him that
it's
he
because,
doesn't give
and
off
I
that-
hate to say this because I'm not a big fan of him. He's just fucking cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like he just
Yes,
sits
I'm
back,
well
he wears
aware.
his shit. You know what I mean? Just like sits back. It's like I don't really care for him, but it's one of those where he's just cool and
He
can
doesn't.
sit back.
Yeah, it's like you don't care for him, but he's also not being obnoxious anymore.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it's the obnoxious part. Like he doesn't come across as like trying to push it in your face. Like he just kind of stands back and lets people come to him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't try to go chase people.
I also feel
he
like
doesn't need
it's
to.
age too. Like he's gotten
Yeah.
a little bit older, so he's now more quiet about his insanity. Whereas these two are old.
I wanna see what their
just
age-
as old, but like,
How
I'm gonna
out
say they're all about
there.
the same age, right?
He is
yeah, I want to say they
61.
are close. Because Pitchford's got to be. I mean, he may not be 60 yet, but he's got to be at minimum very late 40s.
He's
He's
53.
53.
Bam.
Yeah.
Hold on, and how old is Tim Sweeney?
Same.
He seems like the youngest of the bunch. How old is
He is.
Tim?
They are both 53. Those assholes are 53. Kojima's got 8 years on him, and he's like, "Kids, listen, stop being assholes."
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about Kojima. He doesn't come off as an arrogant like asshole. He comes off as like
He comes off as arrogant, but not like
yeah,
in a
not asshole style.
confident, very
Yeah.
confident,
Again,
not arrogant.
it's more
confident.
There you
self-contained.
go, there you go, there you go.
He doesn't go
Yeah.
out there yelling his stupidity, where the other two kind of do.
No,
Yes.
he shows off. He shows off as amazing. That's what it is. It's like,
but it's
oh,
also like weird, you know.
yeah, like here I'm strange, and it's like,
Stranding is-
but he makes weird work.
But yeah, I was about to say he's one of those artists where it's just like you look at his work and you're like, wow, okay, that's pretty fucking good. You're weird. You're a little out there, but damn, do
A
you do
little?
good work?
That's-
Yeah,
He's the
that-
person, you know, when we turn around in the industry, in any industry, and we say there's no original ideas that are out there,
That's it.
and
there
he's
it
like,
is.
and he's like, hold
Tim.
my beer. You know, what I mean?
No.
I'm going to
He
show
doesn't
you
go,
some
I
"Weird,
made
like,
original
a
hold my
scarf
wine
with
or
hands,
something."
Oh.
you know.
all of my sake. you
There you
know?
go.
It's
There you go.
Dear Lord. Oh
Yeah.
man. Well, in other stuff that we've been playing, all of us have been playing 7 Days to Die.
Yes, we have.
3 of us have been playing 3 different versions of it. So it's been a thing. We're learning a lot about this game in our many interactions with it.
Oh yeah.
Because in the game where it's, you know, me and Chicken and Baka and Red and Cat, we just got through day 49. Barely. We learned that things explode and that you cannot disrespect the game because the game will show you why not to. Yeah, like...
Again.
When you're feeling comfortable, the game's like, I'm gonna slap you around a little bit, watch this. Because things started blowing up in Horde Night for night 49, and I don't think we knew it was coming, but we weren't sure how it was gonna go.
I know you don't get XP for when fucking spikes kill things, but I would not give a shit if I was having to deal with what y'all were having to deal with.
Well, we had spikes around, in the one that we are doing, it's got a set of stairs that has a run up, which Chicken's explained before, and I usually try to keep spikes around that, so when we knock them off of the little beam that they're standing on, we get credit because we've already hit them, and then they get hurt falling through the spikes, so it's kind of doing both.
Okay.
But with the amount that we're dealing with at this point, those spikes do not last. Like, you are constantly trying to fix them or throw them down again or whatever, because there's just so many things falling through them all the time. And then things start blowing up.
I could still have that feeling of, oh shit, because not only the first one that fell down blew up and damaged all of the pillars underneath holding up the base. I was like, oh no, we can't have another one and another. We had to deal with 5 demolishers. They run strapped and whatnot with grenades.
Yeah, anytime that you hear beeping in a game, it's like the same thing as seeing a red barrel. You know what's gonna happen. You know what it does. But the problem is we hear beep, 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 beep. And we're like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Because there's so many bodies everywhere that you just sometimes you can't see them. And so it's like, it's close, it's close. Where is it? Is it below us? Is it gonna blow? Our base got cratered. And that's not a figure of speech. Literally, there was a crater under the base because they just started blowing up. And oh my god.
It was the third one. It was the third one that fucking did it. The first one blew up and damaged everything. One blew up near the pyramid stairs and blew up the side of it. And then, oh man, after the third one fell to the center, because I was like, we have to stop them before they get up to the center. And you have to kill them without hitting their chest. And he got his chest hit and fell. And I was like, you hear it go beep, beep, beep. And I was like, oh no, it's going to happen. And you hear it go boom. And the centerpiece where we're standing at just collapses. And you see everybody just fall through the floor into the fucking pit of zombies.
Well, and for us, we're backing up against the wall. I think Kat and I were stuck on individual blocks that hadn't fallen. And I'm what are we doing?
I ran out. I fell to the ground and had 4 of them around me, and I'm running knuckle weapons, and I just start punching and knocking them down and run off. I try to get away, and there's a horde of them following me, and I got my assault rifle, and I just start blasting.
I think Baka died.
Oh, yeah. Well, after we got back up there, Baka got swarmed in a corner and just got destroyed.
It was rough. It was rough. Oh
man!
The other night with ours, and you had Sentry that was beating us all with a club.
Yeah, the next time that happens, I'm murdering him.
Oh yeah, that's why I turned on
friendly fire. Glancing blows. All right, motherfucker. I don't have glancing blows. I just have straight up murder lust. Okay.
Yeah. You should have been here. Let me solve that for you. Boom.
I was trying to be nice because I thought we were trying to do that as a cooperative goal, but now I know how it's going to be. So, that sets a precedent for me. I will fuck that dude up next time.
I was like, dude, you keep hitting me. I know I've got a pokey and you've got a swingy, but shit.
I'm almost inclined to be like, all right, you want to hero play it? Here's your base. I'm going to go make my own. I'll see you next Horde night. Bye. Enjoy this by yourself. Yes, I know we're splitting the Horde, but...
Oh, if we do that, I'm going to set up, I'm going to get a bunch of pipe bombs and throw it at his base. I mean, you don't think I will? Trust me. No, I was this close. I had several in my hand, and I was looking down. I was like, man, there's just a few more blocks down there. I wonder how mad everybody would get if I blew up our base. I decided not to for that one.
I was already mad, so I would not have been more so. I would have been fine with that.
Oh, my God.
If you're playing in a group, play cooperatively. You're not the hero. You're doing this as a group. So, And then in
Well, that's like me. I'm not worried about the XP. So is one of my thing is now that I know that if you knock them off a pipe and they fall to the ground and they die, it counts as XP. It doesn't really
as long as
fucking
you
matter.
tag them. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was part of the deal is some of our shit was getting destroyed down below. And if we'd just put those spikes down there, they wouldn't have been able to run back up. At least the first few, and it would have protected for a while. So.
And then our other one, we have not gotten to our first Horde night when we played this week because we're only playing it once a week on Thursdays with another friend of ours. And we're letting him be in charge of everything, and he does not have a whole lot of experience with it. This is gonna be we're just like, all right, you tell us what you want to do. We'll do it.
I dug a hole around the entire house.
Yeah, he picked the house and then decided he wanted a moat, and so
I dug a moat.
Yeah, chicken.
Me, Cat, and Red dug a moat all the way around.
Dug the moat.
Is he gonna fill it with spikes? What's he gonna do with the moat?
It's supposed to funnel them in and then get them back up. It's supposed to work like the tower that we built.
Yeah.
Where it funnels them a certain way. They're supposed to come down into the moat and then come back up and try to come across and then fall into the moat and basically do it like that.
I don't know.
Okay.
If
funnel
it
them
like that on that one though. But
there's
already a structural weakness. Like the house that he picked is the boar house. If you've played the standard map a whole bunch, but Red accidentally dug through the basement wall, so there's already an open spot. So they put some building blocks in front of that to try to keep it closed. But
building blocks are like wood blocks.
Like wood blocks, but I think they're building blocks. They need to be
building blocks. They need to be upgraded to wood blocks.
Okay.
But I think that since on Horde Night the zombies do the GPS tracking zombies. I think that they look for the weakest point to get to you directly. So they're probably all going to pile in that moat, go to that weak point, and tear that stuff down to get into the basement and come up behind us.
That's fine. They can't do that because where that leads into, I dug a giant hole that
you went back and did more stuff?
Yeah,
okay.
So when they come in down that way, they fall into a further hole. They can't get up into that anymore. Like, you can't climb up there.
Okay, I didn't see that. I didn't see that after you did that part. I just saw the initial.
I was like, that shit. If I can't fix this permanently, I'm gonna make it so that they can't get into the house from down here. So I just put a giant I dug a hole. Dig a hole, go all the way as far as you can, make it. But they will.
Dig
they
underneath.
will. They'll make a ramp for themselves. They'll destroy the bricks until they can climb up it at an angle. These motherfuckers are.
Yeah, they're smart.
Smart.
But it'll be first Horde Night, so it's one of those where we're letting him take the reins because we've been playing it a little more, so we kind of understand how a lot of it works. But we're letting him do the majority of the planning and whatnot because he doesn't have that experience yet. So we're not gonna be dicks about it. We're not gonna be like, oh, let's just let you do something totally stupid. But it is one of those where we're like, okay, we'll let him learn as he goes, kind of deal.
Yeah, I learn by experience.
Yes,
it's more fun
that one
way.
has been an interesting one for sure.
Oh man, we got so much work to do in our main one. I've got to completely redesign the Horde house because
I said, you on day 50 now, or are you
we're on
day 50.
Okay, so so it's right after
so we've got plenty of stuff to do for the next 7 days.
God. It's brutal. It is rough because, like I said, our other Horde base is just cratered now. You walk up, it's just, you could see where the skeleton of it is now, but the middle of it's just a giant hole in the ground and everything is destroyed. And I can't reasonably rebuild that where I could just go somewhere else and do a new one. Yeah, a better job because I know kind of what I'm looking for this time. But yeah, it's, oh man, concrete will not last. Those demolishers, concrete will not last.
Yeah.
A couple of them, and it just blows up. It's like, okay, well, now I'm going to do a two-sided Horde base. So I'm going to have a Horde base with an upper and lower level, and then I'm going to tunnel underneath it, because you can tunnel. I'm going to go tunnel underneath it, and then I'm going to have a giant tunnel that leads to a mountain to where we can escape to in case things go foobarred.
Well, you're going to need Red to dig your mountain path.
Because the game is like Minecraft and Terraria in that kind of aspect. So I was like, all right, cool. Let's use the environment in a different way. So we'll flatten the land, put steel plates down for the foundation so that they can't blow up the ground this time.
I'm wondering
pillars.
I'm wondering if you could almost do that too. So, because their pathing is they're always going to try to go where you're at, correct? Which is why
They
we're
go
doing like
the path of
proximity.
least resistance to get to you directly.
Okay.
Yes.
So my thought process it would be to dig first and then build up to where you're at. So you could put any type of obstacle between you and the main part where they're going to come up to you.
Mhm.
So, and then have your escape that way too. So like if they have to run back around like they were having to do with ours
Mhm.
and run back around, that gives you time to be able to get out and escape because they're in the hole.
One of my big plans is I'm going to carve a giant hole in the side of a mountain and create a giant ditch in the front of it and like giant doors and put a drawbridge in there because there's drawbridges and with generators and whatnot.
God.
And I'm going to put like spikes across the bottom so that when Horde Night comes, we'll pull up the drawbridge and we'll be on scaffolding right around the side so that we can shoot them as they kind of funnel in through the front door and they'll fall down into the pit trying to get to us and keep trying to go around. Like, you got to make sure there's a way to get to you, or else they'll just start digging through the ground. And if you're in a mountain, they will dig down to you.
We also need to on our main one. We need to put a box in there that's got ammo or something in it for everybody.
Yes,
Because we didn't have one, and I was like, everybody keeps shooting their guns. And I'm like,
I was not. I am melee only in that game.
Yeah.
I was sniping the bigger ones as they were kind of running across, kind of hitting one or two at a time. So or the ones that were trying to hit the walls or whatnot, you try to hit them to distract them. It almost like it resets their AI. If they're hitting a block and you hit them, shoot them, they'll kind of redirect towards you or run back to somebody else instead of hitting the block constantly. So
I've learned a lot.
You always keep your eyes on the ones because they'll get stuck on hitting a block, and then if they break the right block, you come tumbling down.
Well, and not that. I know we're running at close to an hour and a half, but I just wanted because it's really cute. I decided that I was gonna play Final Fantasy 15. I've been game hopping like crazy. I just can't find anything whilst I'm filling the time until October. But I was like, I'm gonna play this. Nugget also wants to play it, so he'll get my controller and just use the little warp dash thing until he's out of stamina, and then he'll go, "Your bar empty." It's like, thanks. Thanks, I'll wait for that resource to come back and stand here for another 5 minutes for you to come take it and do it again. But it's really, really cute, though. Like, he does not know what he's doing, but he really likes that. He's like, I want to do the jump thing, because that's the sound that Noctis makes when he does it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, you're so small and cute. I'm so proud of you. Today he was trying to help during combat, so I was using the target lock thing and he was just pushing the 1X button, but he doesn't know sometimes that you have to keep pushing it. You can't just hold it down, and I keep telling him that, but
hey, I had him like
he's 4, okay?
I had him legitimately holding that, like after I showed him because he was farming some of the monsters and whatnot. I was like, "Are you gotta hold this trigger?" And he would hold it down and then just be mashing the X button. So he was fighting monsters on his own entirely. I was like, "That's right." So he's getting there. He's getting there.
Yes, our little gamer coming along. He asked earlier for Chicken to play Paper Mario, and watched that for a little bit, and then went back to Final Fantasy. So
Yeah. So
he's coming along nicely. It's really cute though. I wish I could share it with everybody. It's adorable. Anyway,
It's adorable.
it is. It's true. We made a cute baby. I can't help it.
He's okay, I guess. I mean, if you like cute babies and all.
he's not a baby, and he'll be the first one to tell you he ain't no baby. He a big boy.
Yeah, you're 4, sweetheart. You're still small
I ain't no
in the
baby.
grand scheme of things.
Yeah, hey, 4 is the oldest he's ever been.
Yes, this is true. That's accurate for anybody at any age milestone. they've
Exactly.
reached, so, anyway, is there anything else?
I don't think so.
I was playing the half sword playtest.
Oh, that's
Ooh,
right.
you
'cause
actually got to do the
it's-
play
yeah.
test? How
Yeah.
is it different?
Is it different?
So rather than like how in the demo like I could just like move my
Yeah, you
arms
just
and
flop around and run
run
through
that.
the darkness, pick up birds and stuff.
You have a stamina
Oh.
of some kind, so you can't do that shit anymore.
Oh, come on! I'd love to be the fucking lawnmower with like dust brooms and just like spin and just kind of slap things as you run through.
Wearing armor affects you greatly, so like if you
Oh.
get knocked down, it is much harder for you to get back up.
Okay.
So
least
be
they can't
naked
chop
or
At least they
like
can't. No, because if you were naked, they'll just chop your legs off a lot easier.
Yeah. The the removing of the limbs has not happened in the playtest for some reason. Even though like I was like, well, maybe it's just default like down or something, and I was like, no, I played with all the settings, and it's like I'm not actually removing any limbs. So I
Huh.
mean, it's a playtest,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it might be a bug or something that's not
they're
translating.
well. I think this is also they're more worried about some of the testing some of the combat. Like I said, the stamina of just lawn mowing everything. They're trying to prevent people from doing that. Like they're trying to make it into like you actually have to pay attention to your swings and your timing a bit more instead of just going wildly. I mean, you can still do that, but the
Not as
chances are,
long.
yeah. Um, you go when you go into it. They pop up with like two cards for two different styles of combat, and they switch out all the time. Like you can either do like one on one, you can do 3v3. There's another
That'd be
one
so
that's
weird to
basically
watch
just like
3v3.
um, it's just a big free for all. Is
Do
another
you
one,
pick those
or
cards at the beginning, or do you pick a card each time you live,
well,
or is the?
every time, like every round, it comes up with two cards, and it's like you can either go this way or this way.
Oh, okay, okay,
Um,
okay.
the other one is kind of like how the demo was, where it's like, okay, everyone spawns in, weapons are on the floor of varying types. You pick up a weapon and you all go at it.
Is it?
Okay.
So
Can
and
you throw stuff? I need to be able to throw things at people.
I feel like
yeah,
they're
yes,
slanting it more
well, you
serious
could.
though.
They are a bit. Um, I mean that was the intent of the game, anyways, because they wanted to make like an actual like medieval style combat game.
Oh, I thought that that was
And
meant to be silly, because
No,
it was
no, no.
hilarious.
Okay, sometimes things don't work out quite like you're playing, especially based on mechanics and whatnot.
I mean, there's a reason why the other one was like a demo in the first place. Like, I mean, I don't think that there's a lot of people working on this game, so I mean, it's kind of going slow in the progress. But
Mm.
I mean, it's still fun to play with.
Well,
Because like I did some of the ones because you in the beginning of it, you can either go in naked. There's a bunch of characters on the side, yeah, and you can just keep clicking them and sort through the weaponry that you want. They should really fix that where you can just go, I want these weapons or whatever, instead of like you have to keep just clicking it until you find the setup that you want.
mm-hmm.
Mm.
But they have like naked, some clothes and some weapons, and it just kind of progressively kind of goes up from there all the way up to like you are fully armored. Here's all your weaponry, your sword or
Okay.
warhammer or whatever it is that you're going to use. Um, it is also a lot harder to actually cut someone who is in full plate armor with the sword
I mean, that makes
for
sense.
obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Because in the demo, like the small slits in the armor and stuff, if you could get it, it's like, oh look, there goes their arm. So they
Uh,
have made it a bit more difficult for the full armored fight, which also in turn makes it to where it takes a lot longer to fucking kill someone. Like I spent like 5 minutes with a hammer just beating a guy on the ground.
I think I saw this in a book somewhere. That's a Game of Thrones reference for some folks.
Ah, I see.
And I was just like, why won't you? Because he would get back up, and I was like, yeah, I win. And then you get back up, and it's like,
Here we go
okay.
again.
Uh,
It's like a bullet sponge, but
yeah, you
really.
gotta knock him down. You gotta try to knock him down forward, and then like crush the back of his leg because
Ooh.
it's the weak parts in your armor where the
Actually,
joints are.
what I started doing is aiming for the feet.
Ooh, there you go.
I don't
Yeah,
like
hey,
this
you gotta do what
anymore.
you
On
you
a
gotta do
lot
what you
of
gotta
them,
do.
for some reason, the feet are not armored, so like I will run into them and like knock them on the ground, and then while they're on the ground, go up and then just start hitting their feet. And it's
Hell
like, well,
yeah,
we're back up now.
hell yeah.
I
Oh my
win.
god, it's
You need to make sure you
brutal.
carry a
Can't
little
walk, you
dagger
can't
or
fight,
something.
baby.
Yeah, that's right. Carry a little dagger so you can get him through the neck piece. Hey, this game is hyper realistic too. You can do precision hits.
I mean, with how the arms and stuff move, it is still really hard to get into those like narrow slits. But
yeah, you need to get VR so you can put like the little haptic hands on and be like, all right, let me get in here and stab this fool. There we go. All right, we're good. We're good.
I would just pay to watch somebody play that game in VR and just like from sitting on a couch and watching. Like just them flailing their arms trying to get into the spots. He's so funny.
Well,
is that it?
Having fun with it.
No more details? I was wanting more details.
Don't worry, he'll be playing it again.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, we do appreciate everybody who's hanging with us each and every week, or every other week. Sorry, went back to the old ways. Every other week, and able to respawn. Make sure that you hit that sub button as well as the little bell so you're notified exactly when this goes live. Or if you listen to us on one of the podcast audio devices, make sure you hit that follow as well. Make sure you go to twitch.tv/EliteChicken313. We're getting closer to the fall. I know it doesn't feel like it because it's a million freaking degrees outside.
Don't worry. Next week it's going to be like 78. Or for you people, it's going to be, if you Celsius people, it's going to be like 24, 27, somewhere in there.
That's about right.
Yeah. See? I can do the math in my head real quick.
Not me.
Ish. I know. Math is not her strong suit.
Definitely not her strong suit. Also make sure you go to twitch.tv/MWOaktree. For even a respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Chicken.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Please hang up and try again.